What's going on, the Copy and Call podcast? It's your boy Loso 2.0, the copy guy himself. And today we're gonna talk about taking time to build and nurture relationships. Okay. First of all, relationships are so important just in anything that you think of. And I know sometimes when we hear about relationships, we think about significant other, like that intimate relationship. But there's relationship with your friends, there's relationship with your family. But more importantly is in business, there are relationships too. Like all the same concepts that you use. And this is why, and I continuously tell you guys, this is why I love marketing so much, because marketing is is literally whatever you learn in marketing, you can apply to any part of your life. And that is what I love about it, right? And I look at relationships kind of like you growing a plant, right? You have to constantly water it. Or having a pet, right? You have to constantly feed it. You have to constantly make sure it's clean, or they may clean themselves. Constantly make sure you have enough water. Show them love and attention. It's the same thing for relationships, right? You have to just continue to feed or give that relationship. Remember, I told you, relationships you have to look at as a place to give, not as a place to take. And this includes with business as well, right? But first of all, we're not stupid. Businesses need money to grow, right? To be there. I understand you want to build a bunch of relationships. You want to have the best customer service ever as well. But it's true though, businesses need money. So you do have to make sales in order for business to stay around, to be honest. It can't just be you are all about the customer to the point where you're making no money. Now, there are going to be times where you lose a lot of money up front in business, and that's okay because that's just how business is. But I'm saying you do need money to be afloat eventually, right? But the money will come. So the money will come when you're constantly nurturing your relationship, right? And you're learning to build relationships. Now, the customers are the most important. Whatever your customer pays for, you should give them 10 times as much as that value back. 10x it. Everything that they paid for. If they pay $100, you got to give them $1,000 worth of work. If someone's paying freaking $1,000, you gotta give them $10,000 worth of work. If they're paying $10,000, you have to give them $100,000. You understand that it's like you have to 10x. You have to give more value than possible. And I'm sorry, I keep looking at my phone because I'm very bad at multitasking. Just in case you guys didn't know, right? Because when I look, like it's just like I'm bad at multitasking. Because when I get a text message, just like first thing I do is like start reading it and stuff like that. Like I gotta remember you're not at work close, and also too, it's just this is society, right? This is what I was talking about. We have our attention span as like a goldfish, bro. I keep doing it. I don't mean to do it. But yeah. So on top of that, right? So there's that. That's the one side of the spectrum. You want to show your customers that they're the most important. You know, you need the money to flow, but then also the other side as well is like you sometimes don't feel like dealing with everything, right? You may have to. There may be times where you have to do stuff that you want to do, like at my job, right? There may be a time where like a customer you don't even know may come in for like tech questions or something like that. But you have to help them with the tech questions because then that's going to build that rapport now to be like, oh, this is the store I'm coming back to. Regardless of what happens. I had a customer give a bad review to one of my reps for no apparent reason, but I ended up helping him as best as possible. He's like, oh, you know what? Start referring people and saying, I'm coming back to this location. Because sometimes you have to do stuff that you really don't feel like dealing with, even though it's like, because, and sometimes, you are going to have to tell people to get lost, but sometimes you really have to go above and beyond. It's really crazy, right? So you really do have to go above and beyond to keep customers. Like I said, it's 10x is stuff that you give them. So I was actually, and this is something that I actually noticed, right? At one of the store visits that I'll do, and I'm gonna actually tell that story as well. But remember, like I said, it's 10x, and this is something that I got right. This also helps with you building an offer, right? When you're building an offer, this is something to remember, and I said this plenty of times. A customer is not saying that your stuff is not. They're not trying to save money. What they're saying is what you presented, the solution you presented to them, is not worth the amount of money that they're paying. So if someone says, my bill is $100 for one phone, like I feel like that's outrageous. But if they had two phones for $100, they would feel like it's good because it's worth the money. Like they just want more bang for their buck. They want to know the latest deal they can get. That's just how it is. They're not really trying to save money. And once you get out of that mentality, I'm gonna show you an example of like how to build an offer. So recap, right? Relationships, I mean, with business, you have to take time to build and nurture relationships, regardless if you want to or not. I know business is made off of money. We all know that. You need money for a business to flow. And you know customers are the most important thing. Now, customers not always right, but they're the most important thing for you in your business. And sometimes you don't feel like dealing with everything. But in order to get customers and to continue to grow, you have to go above and beyond. You have to give them 10x the amount of value. So if someone pays you $1,000, you have to give them $10,000 worth of the value. If someone gives you 10,000, you have to give them $100,000 worth of value. If they give you 100,000, you have to give them $1 million worth of value. You have to go above and beyond in order to keep customers, in order for your business to grow, even if you don't feel like it. Remember, 10x the value, 10x it. All right. Definitely something to think about when you build in your offer, which I'm explaining in my YouTube video. So this is basically like a story that I seen yesterday, right? So yesterday I was doing my store visits before I went on PTO. I went to the location that was the closest to me. And when I was there, I was watching the rep kind of just do his thing, right? Well, as long as I could, because I constantly had call after call. I had like 6 calls to get on yesterday, right? Like it was like every call I had a 9:45 one to a 10 o'clock one, which is just going reviewing yesterday's numbers. Then had a 10 to 11 o'clock one going over operations. Then we had a break from 11 to 12 where I had to eat lunch. Then it was 12 to 1 where it was 12 to 1, which was what's the 12 to 1? Oh yeah, that call was about like a rally. Then the 1 to 2 one was about another rally. Then the 2 to 3 one was it was another rally. It's a few rallies. Then 3 to 4, it was a call about like, the financials. And then after that, I had to take a test. Then I had to do another call. It was so many calls yesterday. It was crazy. But when I was observing him for a little bit of time, I'm looking at him and I seen him like helping, like, if you know anything about like AT&T at all, right? We don't deal like each department is like different, right? So there's like the customer service side, then there's like the corporate side, then there's authorized retailer. Like we all are, it's almost like we're all against each other, but we're all together. It's weird though, right? So he actually helped the customer in store, call customer service, helped them set up their whole thing, like literally went above and beyond. Like, I mean, he wasn't even getting a sale, but helped this customer for over an hour. And I was like, dang, man, like you really, it's really like a lot of, like, that's really, like, you really spending a lot of time doing that. And when he was spending a lot of time doing that, he ended up getting a sell out of it. I was like, oh, snap. Like, sometimes when you really go above and beyond, then they refer people to him and everything. Like, you have to build that culture where you go above and beyond to help people, even if you're not getting anything from them. I was like, wow, that's crazy. And he didn't look drained or anything. He was happy helping the customer, didn't complain once. He may step back, took a little bite of a sandwich, go back out there on the floor. Like he was constant, like he was locked in helping them. And I was actually surprised that he was actually taking so much time doing this. I was like, yo, this is a waste of money and time. And he actually ended up getting some type of sell out of it. And I was like, dang, this is the kind of culture that they're trying to build. They went above and beyond. He gave them 10 times the value. They only came in to get their data transferred. But instead of getting their data transfer, you got the data transfer. You make sure that the phone was working. He called the customer service for them. Did everything work for them over an hour, not getting one sell from them. And then after that, boom, he ended up getting added on. It was crazy. It ended up getting some money. I was like, this is ridiculous though, right? But he went above and beyond. And then, so it goes to show this is one of the top locations. Now I'm seeing, oh, this is why it's one of the top locations, because he is the top of his thing. Like he went above and beyond. So that's what I wanted to say though, right? That's what I wanted to say though. So literally you have to constantly, my fault, it's on my tooth. You have to constantly like try to go above and beyond and give 10 times the value. Now, when you're building your offer, let's say you give somebody some type of video to watch, right? All right, in this video, let's say you charge them $100 for a 10-minute video. They may not like that. Okay. But then it's like, okay, then you got to give them something to read. All right, let me give you this document that helps with the video. All right, that didn't work either. Then after that, let's try to do this, let's try to give you like this little worksheet to go with the video and the, you know what I mean? And all that stuff, when you keep giving that stuff up, then eventually they're like, oh, it's worth it. I even had a call where I did that before. Like I was like, yo, for me building your avatar, it's gonna be $1,000. He said, okay, $1,000. All right, he was like, nah, that's not worth it. Okay, well, how about this? I'll write you 5 emails with it. Okay, it's starting to get a little bit better, but what else can you do? And then let me write you a landing page. Boom, $1,000 closed. Because it's negotiation. They want more for the money. That's what it is. All right, so that's really what I had to talk to you guys about today, man. Like, subscribe, share this video, whatever you can. Keep killing the day, and remember, you pray for marketing. Excuse me, like this. Copy God out.